So let's check out this Chael Sonnen video, and I'll give my thoughts on it on youth sports overall, actually, and how millennial parents are the ones that are destroying youth sports.
Now, you guys know that I follow wrestling very closely, and you know that I'm a coach and I follow kids wrestling, and I'm even a parent. And I got my son, and he's at these wrestling tournaments. I watched a parent cut a child who happens to be female. She's 8 years old. I watched him cut that little girl from 58 pounds down to 50 pounds. She weighed 58 pounds, is what this little girl, she's a third grader. And there was a tournament, and the father cut her down to 50 pounds. Percentage wise, off the top of my head, that's 15% of her body weight. So that she could enter a tournament, take on the competition, and in theory would have an advantage. And in theory, it was a big tournament. It was held out in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I see this all the time. And these stupid ideas that we come up with in wrestling are very seldomly the kids. I very seldomly run into a kid that's got a really stupid idea. It's generally always the parents. And 99% of the time, it's the dads. It's very rare. And I have met dumb mom, believe me. But not often. I meet dumb mom about as often as I meet dumb athlete. It's generally dumb dad. So now let's rework this. At what point is that good parenting? Is that good coaching? Is that leadership? Is that mentorship? At what point is that abuse? Is it your job as a parent? Is it one of your fundamental jobs to make sure that you feed your child? When the child is hungry, you give it something to eat. Isn't that like a fiduciary responsibility? To get 8 pounds off of a 58-pound girl, I cannot explain to you, but it is nothing short of starvation. The way you lose weight and the way you gain weight is the same, no matter how many books that you've read. You either eat less calories than your body would like to have, or you eat more calories than your body would like to have had.
So my initial thoughts on the video, first off, yes, that is child abuse. Cutting that 8 pounds when you're only 58 pounds, that shouldn't be acceptable. And kids shouldn't be cutting weight in sports in general. You kind of I did judo growing up. You go where you go with what your weight class is, and it is what it is. That whole mentality of cutting the play under is a toxic mentality that's ruining sports, in my opinion. I think this opens up to a kind of more broad issue too, that sports aren't sports anymore. There's no passion for sports. The reclassing, like the AAU, like manipulation, the school hopping, like kids. When we grew up, it was an honor to get asked to play for the older AAU team, to be able to play up a year or be able to play. That was a badge of honor to be able to do that. And now I see kids doing the opposite of reclassing so they can play the 18 years old playing with 16-year-olds. Like, it doesn't help your chance at all. And parents just moving kids to multiple schools, like even in high school. I don't like it in college, but I see it even in high school where it's crazy, where kids just go to prep school and they don't stay in their neighborhood school and play. Like it's changing the culture of sports, and it's taking the passion away, and it's turning into this forced, developed, fake business environment, which is just not enjoyable. And we're starting to see that with the kids now. Thing I noticed coaching is that Gen Z doesn't have any favorite teams. Um, they have teams that they follow. Some of them may be like, most Wisconsin boys are Packer fans, or Wisconsin kids are Packer fans. You might have your random Bears fans if you're lower the state, or if you're in the western half of the state, the Vikings fans. But they don't even know who's good unless the internet tells them what they were good. And the other thing I noticed when coaching is the kids barely watch sports. Um, they have no idea what's happening in the NFL, NBA, MLB. They don't watch film. They don't learn the strategy. Like they don't model after great players. They're just kind of playing. The other thing I noticed is they don't even play video games, sports video games. Like we would always play 2K, FIFA, NCAA, Madden. when we weren't outside, we was playing those games and then maybe some Call of Duty in there and all that. But even in college, we had this whiteboard where we kept track of our Madden and NCAA wins. Like that was our thing that we did. And I think it helped our sports IQ because you learn why you playing, and then you can apply that when you in a real situation in the game. And these kids don't do that. So why is this happening? I think it's the parents. I think it's social media a little bit, but I think it's a majority of the parents. And the social media is a result of that. A lot of the millennial and late Gen X parents are like I see kids with skill trainers at 5 and 6 and year-round programs and elite teams and all of that when they in third and fourth grade, and that's just silliness. It doesn't work and it makes it not fun for that player anymore. Um, the reality of like physical development, like especially basketball. Basketball is a crapshoot until you seventh or eighth grade. Like it depends on who grows and who doesn't. Like no amount of skill work at a six. Like I think Julian Newman is facing that now, where he's just not tall enough to play basketball. And that's what it is. Like it's a sport where you get weeded out, like all sports do. Like some sports, a lot more sports now get weeded out because of money. Like, you know how much money it costs to play softball or to play baseball or to play hockey? That's why it's a sport where mostly white kids play because in this country, that's a class of people that have the money to do it. Like lacrosse. Do you know how much these sports cost? And I think the other average person, like, why don't we see more black lacrosse players or black baseball players? Because baseball is freaking. My parents paid so much money playing baseball for me to play baseball, and I feel bad because I never really cared. I was good at baseball, and I would make it travel teams and all that stuff, but I didn't care about baseball. I wanted to be hanging out with my friends, and I had to go to baseball practice. I missed a year at AAU because I had to play baseball because we were good at Riverside that year, so I had to play. Um, and just personal for me, like I was tall in early middle school, or like above average height, where I'd be like a 2 or 3. After that AAU season, after freshman year, I shrunk. I was like 5'8", and everybody else was like 6'3". And I realized, like, okay, that may not be my area. I got to go to. I'm gonna go ahead and take my talents over to football and track and baseball. And it gives you that self-awareness of not like, "I gotta make it." Like, and my parents my dad was a music guy, my mom didn't know anything about sports, so I never got pushed to. But I I think these kids are getting set up with unrealistic expectations. They're forced to specialize super early. Most of these kids get burnt out by middle school, and they lose a love for sports, and then they feel guilty for not liking what their parents push. When I was coaching, and I do this with my nephew too, I tell my sister, try all the sports you can, like now. It keeps it fun, it reduces the burnout, and it builds athleticism in areas. When I was coaching, I didn't like to recruit single sport athletes. I kind of got in trouble for this with some of my coaches sometimes, but the multi-sport athletes, they were just better athletes to me. They were more mentally adaptable, they were more competitive. They you can break bad habits with them easier. Like my corners, I want them to be like point guards. Like most of my DBs, I want them to be other hoopers. That's more a mentality too. The linebackers and D line I like them to be wrestlers and like willing to get in the dirt. The receivers like sprinters. I want them to be. They don't like getting touched, but they want to go run faster than everybody. And quarterbacks, baseball, like the thinking sports. So like, and it makes it easier to coach those guys. So and look, I don't have kids. Maybe I might be speaking out of my lane in this, but I think people should let their kids be kids. Don't try to fix the childhood regrets you got in them. We all saw butterfly effect. We know that forcing outcomes leads to really bad things happen. They'll end up hating it and then end up feeling guilty for hating something you're obsessed with. So it's just a thought. It's Kenny Cams, y'all. I'm out. Peace.